Greetings fellow charties, it's Ed here at the Trading Lab, your #1 manual backtesting channel. Today we're testing a dead simple standalone RSI strategy that serves double duty as both a trend indicator and a momentum oscillator at the same time. Most RSI strategies use additional indicators, RSI trend lines or divergence for their signals, but not this one. I could go into the history and calculations of the relative strength indicator, but who's got the patience? If you're really curious, there are far better explanations than I could ever give elsewhere on YouTube, and we're here to test trading strategies, not teach history or math. I do, however, want to point out something that is little known about the RSI. It can be, by itself, a trend indicator. Most people think it's only a momentum oscillator, but there's a built-in trend finder if you know where and how to look. I've never seen this discussed elsewhere, but here's a standard RSI set to 14 on a price chart. We'll change the candles to a line chart just for clarity. Now I'm going to put an orange line every time the 14 RSI crosses the 50 line or the midline of the indicator. Now watch what happens when I put a 28 period moving average on the chart. The price crosses the moving average every time the RSI crosses the midline. Let's change the RSI to 40 and the moving average to 80. Let me get rid of the orange lines, and now I'll use light blue lines for the crosses. Now you can see that adding a moving average double the period of the RSI will always do the same thing. Why is this important? Well, it means that you can determine the trend on a price chart just by looking at where the RSI is relative to its 50 midline. Using the standard 14 period RSI, when the line is above the midline, price is in an uptrend over the medium term, and when it's below the 50, price is in a downtrend. The strategy we're testing today takes advantage of it by plotting a shorter 2-period RSI on top of the standard 14 RSI to make a super short momentum oscillator that shows when a pullback is demonstrating new strength in the direction of the trend. I'll show you how to set this up exactly 30 seconds from now, but first, for those who are new, we always manually backtest with the same rules for every strategy: 200 signals over 6 random markets and 6 random time frames, entering with stop orders beyond signal bars, moving our stop to break even at 1-to-1, and targeting 1-to-2 as our take profit. We cancel entries that don't trigger in 4 bars and cut short trades that don't complete in 40 bars. The rest of the rules are on the screen. And be sure to watch to the end of the video to see our rankings and for our link to our most profitable strategy we've tested, if this one turns out not to be the new champion. Here's the setup. First, put 2 standard RSIs on your screen by clicking it twice. Open the settings for one and remove the moving average and remove the gradients here at the bottom. I'm going to thicken the RSI line and make the 50 line more visible. Then on the second RSI, open the settings, again remove the moving average and the gradients, and change the color to whatever you want. I'm going to use green for visibility, and then under inputs, change the RSI length to 2. Now all that's left is to combine them to make them usable for our purpose. Now we have to combine them. To do that, open the object window with this icon here, then slide the lower RSI on top of the higher one. It'll look like this. At this point, you're almost done, but you need to merge the scales in order to make it work. So right-click on the left side scale, click Merge Scales into One on the right, and it's done. Don't forget this step and you'll be ready to go. The strategy rules are simple. For a long position, the 14-period RSI, the purple line, must be in the top half of the indicator, above the 50 line, and the 2-period RSI, the green line, must dip below the 30 line at the bottom and head back up. The signal is given when the green line crosses the purple line above the 50 line. This indicates that the price has sufficiently pulled back and has now gained momentum in the direction of the trend. As always, set your stop entry order just beyond the signal bar, targeting 1-to-1 to move to break even, and then 1-to-2 to take your profit. Shorts are just the opposite. The 14 period in purple must be traveling along below the 50 line. The green 2-period RSI rises above the 70 line, then moves down and crosses the purple below the 50. Set your order just below that signal bar, and it's important to remember that you can only take another signal when the green line again moves below the 30 for longs or above the 70 for shorts and resets. Now we'll choose the markets and time frames to run our backtest. Using this randomizer spreadsheet, 32 markets including Forex, Bitcoin, gold, and oil, and 12 time frames to choose from. Here's where I'll be searching for our signals today. Go ahead and amuse yourself. I will be back with the results in 10 seconds. That woman reminds me of someone. I just can't place it. Speaking of arrested development, this strategy seems to suffer from it. Although it is profitable, as you can see in this equity graph, it's pretty anemic. Here are the numbers. It averaged about a 4% gain for every 100 trades, though it did have a decent enough win rate at 25%. It just had a higher loss rate that dragged it down, causing one of our highest max drawdowns into that burned out neighborhood of 20% or so. Its only redeeming quality is that there are a lot of signals, even if they are, let's just say, of questionable quality. However, even with so many crappy signals, it was still a profitable strategy that was pretty easy to implement, meaning it could be a reasonably good base to add additional filters or confirming indicators. Or you could just move on to one of our higher ranking strategies and put that same energy into one of those. Here's the current rankings where today's RSI strategy falls near the bottom. Our highest ranking strategy, the 200 period EMA cross, the winner of our MACD battle, remains unbeaten. I'll put the link to that video on the screen in just a moment. But remember, I still want to test your favorite strategies, so comment below or send me an email. Also, I would sincerely appreciate it if you would click the like button below and consider subscribing. It truly helps the channel reach more people. I'm back every week testing another trading strategy, and I invite you to come along for the ride. Speaking of which, here is the link to our most profitable one so far, the 200 EMA MACD cross. Thanks again for watching, and I wish you a great trading week.